Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, the vultures are gathering and circling around Tinubu's 2023 presidential ambitions, and you have to be on alert to be aware of this, and I'm pretty sure that Tinubu's eyes are peeled and he is aware. Guys, I bring you this. Maman Dara's comment on Buhari's successor creates anger. So this is now what is being contended with now at the top spaces of the Nigerian political scene. We've all heard what Maman Dara said, and I think I covered it in a previous video, but if you haven't heard, then you will hear it again. As again, Maman Dara's comments on Buhari's successor creates anger. So now let's now find out exactly what this guy said. Maman Dara might have spoken out of the conviction that Nigeria needs to make a bold paradigm shift away from the fruitless status quo, but unfortunately, his comment has raised more questions from people who have a date with 2023 presidency. Speaking with BBC Hausa Service recently on Tuesday, July the 28th, Dara, who is President Buhari's nephew, had submitted that 2023 presidency should be prioritized on qualification and competence and not tribe and regional interest. Recently, there have been calls for the 2023 presidency to be zoned to the southern regions of the country after the end of President Buhari's government. Familiar names including Bola Ahmed Tinubu, former Lagos State Governor, Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai, Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amici, and a host of others have been identified as capable hands to succeed the president when his tenure ends. But Dara, who is an elder statesman and a major influence in Buhari's government, said Nigeria does not need a rotational presidency, which he said has been done 3 times. He instead posited that Nigeria must look beyond the region to elect its leader in 2023. Maman Dara said the best man should be voted to succeed his kinsman. In his words, rotation has been done once, twice, 3 times. It is important that this nation should be united as one. The most qualified / competent amongst the aspirants should be elected and not someone who comes from a particular zone. Dara's statement has been caught in different comments from advocates of power shift who berated him for being hypocritical, wondering why he never made mention of that prior to the 2019 general election which brought Buhari to power. Reacting to Dara's comment on power shift, the President General of Ohaneze, Chief Nai Nwodo, insisted that it is the turn of the South, particularly in Digbo, to produce the president in 2023. The organization warned that equity should not be sacrificed at the altar of parochialism, since it was the rotation sentiment that produced the present incumbent. The statement by Maman Dara is, to say the least, self-serving. He should have said this before 2019. They ganged up to push President Jonathan aside because they believed it was the turn of the North to produce the president. Having benefited enormously from his nephew being president, he now wants it jettisoned because it is the turn of the South. Equity is a constant flagship for peace and good governance. Without it, there will continue to be agitation and crisis, Nwodo said. The Middle Belt also reacts. In the same vein, people of the Middle Belt region of the country under the Middle Belt Professional Forum (MBPF) cautioned Dara over his comment on the 2023 presidency. In a statement sent to journalists on Wednesday, July the 29th, in reaction to the comment, the president of the group, Prince Moses Dwayop, described Dara as a deceptive and treacherous hypocrite. As someone who is known to be behind Buhari's failed presidency, Dara should first apologize to Nigerians for the superlative incompetence that his nephew has visited on Nigeria. Under him, Nigeria became the global capital of poverty, corruption has now grown leaps and bounds. Insecurity, banditry, terrorism, ethnic-based cleansing, even in his home state, Katsina, the group said. So, on and on it goes, lots of criticism, but it's just the hypocrisy. I don't really think I can add too much more to what has been said already, especially by Chief Nwodo. So if Dara feels that competence should override tribal sentiment or turn by turn, then perhaps he should have said that in 2019 when they were using tribe and ethnicity to drumbeat Buhari, to rig Buhari back into power. So he should have said this then, so that the people can then say that, oh, okay, oh, this important man has said this important thing, and then they would have weighed it against the perceived competence of Malam Buhari. If they perceive him to be competent or not, then they would have made the decision on whether he gets to have a go again. So if we are talking about, I mean, the last person anyway that should be speaking about competence is the Malam Buhari regime, because of course they have not had one moment of competence in the entirety of their governance. It's just crass, you know, backwardness all the way through. And this is the guy that underpins this, by the way. He was the one that was being chased out of Aso Rock, you remember, by Aisha Buhari. But now, whether you dismiss him or not, they are already flagging it out. They are sending smoke signals to their units, to their lieutenants all over the country that, look, we are not giving this power back, come hell or high water. And this is what this guy is signaling now, that, look, it is not your turn anymore. You've had your turn, and we will continue to rule you forever, because this is what our own agenda is. This idea of turn by turn, we just used to pacify you for Abiola. You are not trying to turn it into a national policy. There is no turn by turn. This thing is staying with us forever, whether you like it or not. So this is what this guy is now saying, but his credentials, his competence to say it is really something that we need to probe. So if this guy is saying it, Mamandara, then you can bet your bottom dollar that this is what Malam Buhari is saying as well. Because Malam Buhari and this guy, of course, they are joined at the hips. Malam Buhari is Malam Buhari's mother's last born. This Mamandara is the firstborn of Malam Buhari's firstborn. So you understand that, don't you? So Malam Buhari's mother, her first child, he gave birth to Mamandara. It was rather in the same time course, but I don't know how they, you know, they marry very early in that region anyway. So maybe she was married at 13, 14. So she just kept on having children for as long as she was able to. So now, when this guy was born, Mamandara, Malam Buhari was born shortly after him. So they are the same age, from exactly the same family, and they did everything together to the point of moving into Aso Rock together. So if this guy is speaking, then it is Malam Buhari that is speaking. There's absolutely no question about that. These are people in their 80s who have been together since they were 8 years old, 5 years old, 1 year old. So somebody that spent a good 80 years by you, side by side, when he speaks, he more or less speaks your language, because of course you have bonded and meshed together over the period of 80 plus years that these people have been together. Conversations in the comment section, they are telling you to get lost, to whether you listen or not, and they are really saying this to send the smoke signals to their people that this is the direction that we're going to follow. Because now you will start hearing and seeing all this now public northern figures coming out into the public space to say, well, it is not in the constitution that we have to do turn by turn. It is not national policy. We have to look for the most competent person. We did not look for the most competent person when Buhari came in, because of course Buhari is the least competent president that the country has ever had, and he was incompetent to everybody's knowledge prior to him coming in. The only reason that brought Buhari in was that they were determined to force Goodluck Jonathan out, and Buhari was the only potent weapon that they had to do that, because it had a following in the north and it has a persona within the country, which of course has now been demythified now. Conversations in the comment section. You can read the smoke signals if you like, but whether you read the smoke signals or not, it is coming. What says you? Come share thoughts. But before you do that, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. The bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Click on like as well, because that helps with the YouTube algorithm. Once you've done all the clickings, come into the comment section. Come tell me now what you're making of this smoke signal that Maman Daura is sending out to the rest of the Malamis, that look, we're not hold firm and hold steady. We're not letting go of this thing, is what he's saying. What says you? Come share thoughts. So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section, but here I say peace.